Now, let's kick off this morning's programming with a flash talk, Leading to Win Environmental Justice, a Path to the Future. This Latinx House Raizado Festival is very proud to present this award-winning young activist who is leading the environmental movement in the community of South Los Angeles. She is a member of People Not Pozos, People Not Oil Wells. Please welcome with a warm, hearty applause the beautiful activist and 2022 Goldman Environmental Prize winner, Nalleli Cobo.
Hi everybody, how are we doing? Good? I'll take that just because it's early. All right, well, hola a todos. Before I start, I do want to say thank you to Monica and Olga for allowing me a space to share my story and to talk about the urban oil drilling issue we have in Los Angeles. Throughout these past few days, we've had the honor to be able to hear each other's personal stories, and I'm blessed and grateful to be able to share a part of mine with you all today. So, first of all, I believe storytelling is a compelling form of activism. I believe there's power in our stories and there's power in masses. Since we're starting to get back to normal life slowly, I want to do something a little interactive. So I'm going to ask a question and feel free to shout out your answers. What do you think belongs in a community? Schools, trees, people, water, cars, parks. Okay, I was like, parks is better. Art. Okay, common answers: hospitals, the sidewalks, schools, trees, green spaces. Unfortunately, the reality is that Los Angeles is the largest urban oil fields in the nation. 3.2 million Angelinos live within a quarter of a mile or less to an active or idle oil and gas well. I personally grew up 30 feet away from one. I grew up in South Los Angeles in a beautiful, vibrant community, a community where if my mom was making eggs for breakfast and we needed salt, the vecino would give us eggs and pepper and cheese to jazz up our omelet. Where if we were walking and the paletero walked by and we didn't have cash, the answer was, "Don't worry, grab what you want, pay me next time." We were all family. I loved all of my neighbors except one. Alanco. Alanco Energy operates on land leased to them by the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Yeah, as someone that has gone to Catholic schooling her entire life, it's because of the beliefs and morals that they have instilled in me that I feel like it's my duty to call them out for being hypocrites. Just because Alanco operates on land leased to them by the Archdiocese does not make them holy emissions. It is unfortunately another way that the church is abusing children. Alanco has 21 underground wells with nine surrounding schools in the area. One of them a daycare for newborns to 2-year-olds, across the street from a senior living facility. All ages of life are being affected, beginning to end. It shares a wall with a high school for children with disabilities, such as paraplegia. Something people often don't know is that these wells operate under such immense pressure that every 10 to 15 minutes, valves have to be opened to prevent an explosion. I was 10 when I learned this, and I immediately thought of all the evacuation drills we have at school. Fire drills, earthquakes, active shooter drills, but there was no evacuation plan in place for my community despite us living on a bomb. I remember being in school and checking the clock every 10 minutes and whispering to myself, I hope they opened the valves. That's not normal. Eventually, hours would pass and eventually the day, and I had forgotten. And as I was walking out of school, I would say, I'm glad that while I forgot about the valves, the worker had not, and they allowed me to attend school for another day. As much as we were fighting for our health and our safety. It's Alenko's wells. We're fighting for our health and our safety. I was always a healthy little girl, and all of a sudden at the age of 9, I started getting headaches, stomach pains, heart palpitations, body spasms so intense I couldn't walk. My mom would carry me from place to place. I developed asthma, and that's something I'm always gonna have to live with now. I got my first MRI when I was 10. We all know what an MRI was, but obviously I didn't. And the nurse explained it. It's just a picture of your brain. Simple, right? Not to me. I thought the way the doctor would see my brain were bubbles of my thoughts. I have a very, very big obsession with Justin Bieber. And I would tell myself when I was in the chamber, Naye, you cannot think of Justin Bieber. You have to think of the pain, think of the smell, so then those bubbles pop up and not Justin Bieber serenading you with One Less Lonely Girl, which has yet to happen, but that's besides the point. We were fighting 3 monsters as a community: the oil industry, the archdiocese, and the broken regulatory system us people of color constantly fight. I am a proud daughter of 2 immigrants. My mom immigrated here from Mexico and my dad from Colombia. But I'm also the very proud product of a single mother. Many immigrant parents set aside their dreams and their hopes for us to give us opportunities they could only dream of. That's the case of my mom, who's actually here today. Hi, Mom. It was actually her birthday yesterday, and I had originally promised her a trip to Paris. I booked the trip and everything, and like a true Gen Z, when I got to the checkout, I asked myself, do I really need insurance? And obviously, I opted out. When I was presented to come here and share my story with you all, I talked to her about it, and she said, Mija, Paris no se va a ningún lado. Cumple tus sueños y Dios proveerá. Even though it meant losing her dream trip. Gracias, mami. What do you do when your community is under attack? You stand up and you fight back. So that's exactly what we did. We started Over Pozos, which I'm a proud co-founder of, People Not Wells, and we started alerting people door to door knocking about what was going on in our very own backyards. Well, I did, and I do love my activism. At the age of 9 and 10, I really wanted to play with the Barbies I had inherited from my older sisters. I wanted to watch Phil from the Future and my favorite, Hannah Montana. I often felt like Hannah myself, normal kid by day, activist by night. Disney did not pick up the pilot. After 4 years of us advocating, we captured the attention of the Los Angeles Times. They wrote a story about us which captured the attention of former U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer. She flew out and had a press conference with my community. And I'm very proud to say Alenko is permanently shut down. When the zoning code that addresses oil exploration was made and developed in the 1960s, seat belts had not been implemented. Smoking on planes was allowed. So how come we have yet to develop our national environmental landmark laws? Let's fast forward to 2020, a year that was hard for everyone. On January 15th, 2020, I heard the words nobody wants to hear. You have cancer. Before I go into detail about my cancer journey, I want to talk about the 5 years leading up to it. For 5 years, I was misdiagnosed. I had been going to the doctor seeking medical attention because I knew something was wrong, but I was ignored, silenced, and pushed aside. I was told the odds of you having something are 1 in a million. My case ended up being 1 in a billion. I guess I should buy lotto tickets, huh? I was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer at the age of 19, and I was forced to choose between my reproductive system or my life. Just like I had my childhood robbed of me, I lost my future. I lost the ability to become pregnant. I lost the ability to take a pregnancy test and be too scared to look at it for 5 minutes. I was robbed of the joyful stress of figuring out how to tell my future husband we're pregnant. Robbed of the joy of feeling your first kick. All of those were decisions that I did not have to make. I can't help but think if one doctor had paid attention, those decisions could still be mine. On March 2nd, I had the biggest surgery of my life. I lost 6 organs and 20 lymph nodes to cancer, but I did not lose my strength. Since I was diagnosed in 2020, I had to do most of my treatments alone. I woke up to an empty room after a surgery. I would do 8 to 10-hour chemo days unaccompanied. I was hospitalized for about a week for a bad infection, and the way my family would visit me was on the building next door on the roof, waving like crazy people. My treatment consisted of 3 surgeries, 8 minor procedures, 3 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, and fighting off 2 infections until I heard the words, "You are cancer-free." I thought once I rang the bell that my body would bounce back, cancer who, never heard of her. Not the case. I learned my body has a new normal. I live in constant chronic pain. I don't stimulate an appetite. I have lymphedema and much more, but that's nothing of interest to you. What matters is I'm here. On January 26th, thank you. On January 26th of this year, history was made. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors and Los Angeles City Council voted unanimously to phase out oil and gas wells in the city with a just transition. By the end of this decade, Los Angeles will be running on 97% renewable energy, and the next time I will be standing in front of you all, I will get to say Los Angeles was the largest urban oil field in the nation. I remember standing in the room when the mayor signed the ordinance and feeling the palpitating energy. I was thinking that no future little girl would have to lose her childhood to her next door neighbor, that she would have the ability to have kids or to not to, that she would be healthy and safe, and not live in the constant fear of her health deteriorating or something popping up years later. That would end with me. People often ask me why I fight, and I fight so no child has my childhood. I fight so urban oil drilling is read about in history books. I fight so when people look out of their windows, they see trees, not oil rigs. I fight because I believe everyone has the right to breathe clean air despite their age, gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or zip code. Clean air is a basic human right. Yesterday, California state legislature approved a 3,200-foot health and safety buffer zone in the state of California between oil extraction and sensitive land. We're one step closer to ending the era of fossil fuels and making urban oil drilling only present in history books. So my question to you all is, will you raise your fist in the air and demand climate action and demand environmental justice for us in this room for generations to come, or will you wait until it's your life on the line? Thank you.